Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending this press conference to announce the launch of Rotary's road safety campaign, Share the Road. Good morning and welcome to Honourable Joseph Hugh, Minister of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, to Deputy Commissioner Kurt Walton of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, to the Head of Governor's Office, Matthew Forbes, and to Traffic Inspector Ian Yearwood, representatives from the National Roads Authority, my fellow Rotarians, and our sponsors, Tower, Pinnacle Media, and to the members of the media. My name is Dawn Cummings. I'm the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman Sunrise, and today I'm here representing our three Grand Cayman Rotary Clubs, the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman Sunrise, Rotary Central Cayman Islands, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman. The three clubs have recognized the importance of a nationwide integrated road safety initiative, and we've joined forces to establish and spearhead Share the Road. I'd like to show you a short video to give you a taste of what to expect in the coming months.
In 2016, there was a total of 1,185 traffic accidents on Cayman's roads, which makes you think. How often do you think about others when you're using the road? We all have the right to use our roads without threat to life or serious injury. That's why Rotary's Share the Road is paving the way for a safer Cayman. Whether it's leaving enough space between you and the car in front, wearing reflective clothing when jogging at night, or keeping a safe distance when overtaking cyclists, Share the Road is all about being respectful to other road users. Together, we can make our roads a safer place to save our moms and dads, sons and daughters, husbands and wives, friends and loved ones. Share the Road, brought to you by Cayman's Rotary Clubs.
So why share the road? As you've seen, traffic offenses in Cayman rose 26% in 2016. We had a total of 6,463 traffic-related incidents reported last year and 6 fatalities. These numbers are staggering for such a small island. Every death on our road is one too many. Every death or injury on our roads impacts someone we love or someone we know. It impacts us every day. We all have the right to use our roads safely. Cayman being a far more active community today than it was 20 years ago, Share the Road will pave the way for a safer Cayman for our loved ones, for our daughters, our sons, our parents, for our friends. With a growing population and more housing development, we also have expansion of our roads. Our population is made up of many different nationalities with different and varying degrees of driving skills and experiences. It's imperative for all of us to work together to evolve and educate our road users to make our roadways a safer place for everyone. That's the key with this campaign. Many road safety campaigns focus on our drivers, but Share the Road covers all road users. Rotary's vision is for this campaign to be aimed at educating all road users, ensuring that everyone has a mutual respect for the value of a life, and encouraging Caymankind on our roads. It's been wonderful, therefore, to have received support from the many organizations which are an integral part of our roadways. Support from the planners, the developers, and those who maintain our roads, to law enforcement, the licensing department, road usage, road signage, all joining together to encourage and ensure road safety. So on behalf of Cayman's Rotary family, we thank all representatives on the panel and look forward to working with all of you to help to improve road safety. The campaign's messaging is not about scare tactics or naming and shaming offenders. It's about education. Fundamental message being mutual respect on the road means safer roads. And this includes leaving, as you saw, enough space between yourself and the driver in front of you. Wearing reflective clothing at night if you're a jogger, a walker, a cyclist. Giving cyclists and pedestrians a wide berth when you overtake them on the road. There are many little things we can do to make adjustments. The focus area for the campaign is on the 4 main users, being our drivers, our pedestrians, motorists, and cyclists. The campaign will take an in-depth look at each user, and as an example for drivers, drive so that others survive. Pay attention to what's happening around you and not on putting on your makeup or eating your food or talking and texting on your phone. For pedestrians, look around you before stepping out on a road. Choose a safe place and time to walk or cross a street. For cyclists, ride to survive. Be defensive on the road and understand that you're at risk being out there. We all have to share in the responsibility. In order to spread awareness, the Share the Road campaign will be communicated through radio, newspaper, and digital advertising. We plan to go to schools to talk to students. Our young drivers are the most impacted at the moment, and to various community groups. Working together with RCIPS to educate road users when they are out on the road. And we'll invite the public to visit our website, sharetheroad.ky, and our social media sites. Share the Road is an opportunity for all road users to think about road safety, to better understand the part you play in reducing road trauma and creating an environment of mutual respect. Saving lives on the road requires a community effort, and working together will really make a difference. I'd now like to invite the Honourable Minister Joseph Hugh to speak about the Ministry's support and the importance of the Share the Road campaign.
Thank you, Rotarian Don. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, members of the press, those tuning in with us, fellow Rotarians. It is certainly our pleasure to support this effort, and we congratulate the Rotary Clubs of Grand Cayman for spearheading this effort. We often talk, and I'm very happy to see those who know me, I promote the Cayman kind, not just in our international promotions through tourism, but certainly locally, as one of our greatest treasures is that of what we call Cayman kind, Cayman kindness, which many of our visitors have said that it's very unique to this country. And no matter where you're from, no matter what culture you come from, we encourage you to embrace that very same attitude here in the country towards each other and certainly towards our guests. So I'm very happy to see that we've included the branding of Cayman kind in trying to see that attitude being displayed on the roads that we share with each other. We can only build so many roads. We're building a lot at the moment, but at some point we're going to run out of space to building roads, to build new roads. And therefore, we've had a huge push in promoting public transport over the last few years, encouraging people to be healthy, cycle, go for walks if it's a short distance, and we have shown this or displayed this in the new standards of the roads that we're currently building. The curbing, the high curbing that we've done, the side drains, the bike paths and the extra wide areas for pedestrians and cyclists to use. It is not a lane for people to undertake or to turn it into multiple lanes of the road, but we all have to appreciate the roads are not just built for those in vehicles. The roads are built for everyone to commute back and forth, whether you choose to do so on a vehicle, a bicycle, a moped, or by foot. That's the reason the roads are built for, and we all have to appreciate that and respect each other on the road when we traverse back and forth. This is very important to us, not only in our daily lives, feeling confident that we can allow our children to cycle down the street to visit their friends or to go to their sporting events, but also for our tourists as they visit to have that patience and understanding that they're driving on a different side of the road and that perhaps roundabouts may be new to them. And so we encourage everyone to continue to display patience and that Cayman kind attitude on the road, and ultimately what it's going to lead to is saving lives. So I'm very happy again to see the Rotary Clubs of Grand Cayman spearheading this. I think it's timely, I think it's needed, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you, Minister Hugh, for your support. And as a member and a past president of Rotary Club of Grand Cayman and a user of the road regular, we see you out there running. I know that you support this campaign. I really appreciate it.
I know it's a wide load, but...
I now invite Deputy Commissioner, Police Commissioner Kurt Walton and Traffic Inspector Ian Yearwood, who are representing RCIPS, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Certainly from the police side, what I would say, any initiative that looks at road safety, we are certainly we will do everything in our power to make sure that we work closely with those partners. So we really appreciate the collaboration with Rotary and and everyone else involved in this initiative. From our side, it is often seen that we are the enforcers of the law, quite rightly. That's our jobs. That's what we're paid to do. What is often not seen is the other two aspects of that, which is the educational side and the engineering side. We often are looking at enforcement, and that manifests itself in the stats, as you've heard earlier in those stats. But so often what is not seen and what is not seen is what we do from the educational side. And sometimes you'll see officers out there on the side of the roads issuing leaflets and educating the public about different types of new legislation, such as certainly mobile phone and what not to do when you're driving your vehicle, and certainly not using your phone while you're driving. Other campaigns in terms of looking at certainly we're seeing a lot of roundabouts and educating the public. Again, that's another engineering issue, but educating the public about how roundabouts work, so we get involved in that sort of those sort of initiatives. And just generally speaking, just trying to educate the public on, because what we want to do is ensure that our roads are safe, and that it's about you as a road user exercising common road courtesy and just to respect your fellow road user and the rights of your other road users. So from our end, it's just looking at the stats. Certainly when we look at last year compared to 2015, we've seen a huge increase, significant increase in the enforcement side of speeding, major increase in speeding detections. We have done a lot to look at the enforcement side by reinstating the traffic management unit. In 2016, we have Inspector Yearwood, who is now leading up that unit, but we've put additional officers in there. You will also see motorcyclists on the streets as well, and this is really for one common purpose, and that is to make the roads safe. So from our end, we certainly, any initiative to continue to make our roads safe, we welcome it, and we are certainly happy to see these sort of initiatives take place, and we'll work in collaboration and partnership with everyone involved, and
Great.
Appreciate the support around that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What I would add, good morning to you, and what I would add to Deputy Commissioner Walton is that when we look at it, we can't say everyone using the road or drivers using the road are rude. That would not be true. But we find that in some instances, you have the users of the road, drivers in particular, not being kind to each other. We spoke about engineering, enforcement, and education. I want to add a fourth one, etiquette. So if we are courteous to each other on the roads, it can help to reduce, and this campaign can help to see that we'll have a decrease in accidents. Don't get me wrong, speeding and drunk driving continues to be one of our major threats on our roads. But small things like, for example, persons using our roads in terms of meeting merges. Let's give an example, Linford Pearson Highway. There's a merger right there at the top of Linford Pearson coming off from the King Sports Center. Persons don't want to give up. It's like, well, you're going to stay there. You got there after me, and you're going to stay there. And you just see everyone just trying to push each other's button, trying to force each other off the roads. Come on, this can be avoided just by a little courtesy. So as it relates to this campaign, we fully support that. We can't do it as just enforcement. Enforcement, we can issue as much tickets as we want. To get the true message out to the general public, it's going to have to include a buy-in from everybody using the roads. Thanks very much.
Thank you both. And a big thank you to the RCIPS for all that they do, for providing us with the stats. And as you've heard, they are the first responders when we don't act safely on the road. So really appreciate all of your efforts, and we're very happy to be working with you. I would now invite Matthew Forbes, head of the Governor's Office, to add a few comments.
Thank you very much. And firstly, just to say apologies from the Governor for not being here. She would have been, but she's actually in London at the moment with the Premier, attending talks with ministers in London. She is aware of the campaign and very supportive of it as well, and we've discussed it on a number of occasions. It's great to see the Rotary coming together and the different branches of the Rotary coming together to actually put this campaign together, and I think it's really important that civil society groups and the public are working together with the police and with government as well. It's not just a case that I think you can run these campaigns with the police just driving it or government driving it. So I think the mix of you doing this all together is really important. I was listening to the statistics that you were saying earlier, and I think that's really what this is all about. We're quite concerned about the rises in the incidents that we're seeing on our roads, and we see some of the more horrific incidents that do take place. There was the crash that took place a few weeks ago where there were 4 people unfortunately killed. So it's trying to stop that and reduce these incidents that's really important. I've, in my career in the Foreign Office, I've driven in many countries and seen lots of different standards of driving. I've seen standards that are better than here, and I've seen them that are a lot worse as well. I think what's unusual about Cayman is the number of different nationalities that actually drive on our roads here, and the different standards and habits, if you like, that they bring with them from other countries. So a campaign that actually seeks to educate people about how our road system works here and the types of controls and different road formats that we have here, I think is really important. We all see roundabouts. I think Kurt mentioned earlier on, people coming from the States don't really know how to use roundabouts, and similarly us in the UK, we've never seen a 4-way stop before. So there are lots of these funny sort of peculiarities, if you like, about Cayman that this campaign I think can help to sort out. So as I say, we're very behind this, and we're very pleased that that it is very much a sort of a cross government, police and public campaign, and we wish it all the best and good luck to you.
Great, thank you very much, Matthew, and to the Governor's Office for your support. To find out more about Share the Road or to get involved as a sponsor, I would encourage you to visit our website at www.sharetheroad.ky. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Rotary are very much looking forward to seeing the Share the Road campaign in action and to seeing our roads become safer. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.
About them afterwards. So is there any other type of education you'll be doing? You said you'll be going into the schools, but anything like some events or anything else like that?
We haven't gotten as far as events as yet, but we will be holding I suppose more public forum type of events to assist. In addition to supporting a lot of the road-based activities, the fun runs that are coming up this summer. There are a number of cycling events that happen. We actually had a soft launch of this campaign in April when Rotary Club of Grand Cayman had their initial, it's an annual fundraiser, Pedal to the Point, which is a cycle from town through to Northside. Rum Point. So there will be events where we will be there to hand out information, to answer questions. I don't think most users on the road have questions. They just need to be reminded on a regular basis. So the more that we can flash the messages out there and drive people or steer people towards the website so that they are paying attention, the more hopefully we'll see better results. In addition to that, I think as users become more aware of the things that are dangerous on the road, hopefully they're passing those messages on to, when they're a passenger in the car, to the driver or to their child who is learning to drive for the first time.
Morning, Wendy from CNS. Just a couple of questions. First of all, you keep talking about different nationalities. Is it time for Cayman to introduce a driver's test for foreign nationals when they apply for a new permit here?
Want to take it?
Yes.
Do that already.
That's number one. The second question I'd like to ask is what happens about the report that, obviously it was the Minister may not know now, but there was a report a while ago done by the NRA, I think, about road safety, about the engineering aspect, and I wondered whether what we've done about that report, aside from the speed limit, I know that's where the speed limits came from. And finally, I just want to check from the police, cycling on the road, when you're walking on the road and there's no pavement, you walk towards the oncoming traffic. But what is your position about cyclists, whether they should be driving into traffic or with the traffic? I just want to get that categorically on the record. What is the right thing to do? Thank you.
All right, I'll take the first and the third question. As it relates to driving tests, right now the procedure is that once you've moved to the Cayman Islands, you are now required to take a written test before you're actually issued a driver's license under the Geneva Convention.
They don't do a practical though, do they?
Not a practical test, but it's a written
My question
test.
is, like, generically, how do people feel about the idea of introducing a practical driving test for people coming to Cayman that have a license from somewhere else?
Sorry, you want to repeat that question?
To have a driver's... Should we have a practical short driver's test for people when they're applying for a license, a Cayman license, despite perhaps having a license from another country?
I'll say we've got to be very careful on that. There is the Geneva Convention, which allows for drivers from other places to drive, and that Geneva Convention covers persons coming from the Cayman Islands and going to other places to drive. So if you want to start doing that, you may see repercussions of persons not accepting the Cayman driver's license to drive in their country unless you do a test. As it relates now to your last question, if you could just repeat your last questions.
If you could give us a categorical
Right.
position of whether the cyclists should be driving with the flow of the traffic, or whether, like a walker, it's okay for them to drive against the traffic, if you ride against the traffic. So as a cyclist, if you're walking, they say if you're walking, you're supposed to walk towards the traffic so you can see it coming and they can see you. As far as I'm understanding, if you're on a bike, you're supposed to be going with the traffic and not against it. But I want you guys to say it so I can...
Well, yes, you are correct, because the only users that would use the actual roadway are vehicles, mechanically propelled vehicles, as well as pedal cyclists. And you are to go with the flow of the traffic. There's nothing in the law that allows you to go in the opposite direction of traffic.
On the second question, I'm not entirely familiar with the report. What I can tell you is that in my meetings with the NRA just over a week ago, there was a lot of talk and discussions about the new standards of roads that the NRA are now abiding by when building, or when we're in private partnerships that the private sector are building. You will have seen over the last couple of years the upgrades to some of the roundabouts, making those safer. That is all part of that report, as well as you'll notice on the new roads that we're building, some of the corners have banks. These are all designed, and I would believe, or as a result of that report, I'm getting a nod from the audience that yes, it was, that would allow persons to go through those corners at a safe speed and or at the approved speed safely. So you do see, if you look at the Linford-Pearson Highway, the work that's being done there, and if you look at the roads that are being done on the Esther-Tibbetts Highway and the Commander Bay roundabout, you will see a noticeable difference. Not only in the way the roads are built, also the curbing, the high curbing, but also you'll see the new signage that's being put up around at the roundabouts, both on the road itself and the signage as you approach. It's much more defined in telling you what lane you should get into and where that lane takes you. So I think those are all results of that report.
Good morning, Ralph Lewis, Cayman Times. This question is for Dawn. First of all, I applaud Rotary for leading this campaign. And I've been living in the Cayman Islands for some time now, and I've seen campaigns come and go. So my question is, will this campaign be ongoing, or will it have a time limit?
This campaign, our intention is for it to be ongoing. We actually came across a Rotary newsletter from sometime in the late 60s, early 1970s, that was the start of a Rotary road safety campaign, but you have to appreciate back then there was probably 10,000 people on the island, and we didn't have teenage drivers, and a lot of the roads that we have today, there were no roundabouts, and I think we might have had one stoplight, or possibly that didn't actually come on island until the late 70s. The roads have changed, we've evolved, and we have to evolve with the changes. And so for us, this is the next step to making everyone safer here, but it is ongoing. That's our intention.
Yeah, can I just ask the Minister a slightly separate issue of congestion on the roads? I know you mentioned in your speech that there's only so many roads we can build. Is there anything that, other than building bigger and wider roads, that we can do to ease that problem that we have in the mornings and the evenings, particularly when school's in?
Yeah, I think we do have some ideas on reconfiguring some of the major intersections to allow the traffic to flow easier. The NRA have done a tremendous amount of work on modeling. It is going to take possibly another 12 to 15 months to actually, they have a new system that they've purchased, but the modeling and the data that they have, it's going to take probably 12 to 15 months to get it all completely entered, that they can make very, very concise decisions on how to actually change traffic movement. But until then, we are looking at some of the major intersections. One would, the coming in from the eastern districts, we're looking at the Hurley's roundabout and how we can reconfigure that to allow traffic to flow easier through that. But ultimately, we're going to, we can only go, we're building all the roads now with the ability to go to 3 lanes, so 6 lanes, 3 going either way. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to focus on implementing a proper public transport system and encouraging persons to utilize not only greener vehicles but smaller vehicles, as well as car sharing and getting out there and getting healthy, riding our bikes to work sometimes. And this is why we're encouraging, we'll see from the Esther Tibbetts Highway, Butterfield roundabout, all the way to West Bay, will eventually have a bike lane on either side so that pedestrians or cyclists can use a bike lane to commute from West Bay to Georgetown, whether it be leisurely or for work. But we're going to have to do something about public transport, and I think through duty structures and other incentives, perhaps start promoting smaller vehicles, more energy-friendly vehicles, or environmentally friendly vehicles, in order to reduce the size and speed and the amount of vehicles on our roads.
That's just prompted another thought. In the past, I think we had bans on certain types of cars. I think at one point there was a ban on things like Hummers and stuff. Have you given any thought, now you're in a position of power, of reintroducing that kind of ban on say, a certain size engine or a certain size vehicle that might help?
No, certainly we haven't had any thoughts about it. I think the attitude is we've already adjusted the roads and the laws and everything to accommodate these vehicles. The attitude now is to put incentives in place to encourage people to get smaller vehicles and to get more environmentally friendly vehicles. I don't know if the Deputy Commissioner wants to add to that. No? Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that. Ms. Cummings, my question was, among your statistics that you have, can you tell us at any point who's, the main culprit for majority of the accidents? I hate to use that word culprit, but I mean, is it the young people, as
Are
you
you
alluded
asking
to?
me to name and shame?
Yeah,
I, from my own experience, I would say that the age range tends to be between 18 and probably early 30s. I'm not going to say male versus female, and I think any specific stats we would have to ask the police for, but I think that's the age range that we're looking at. They're the most at risk from a speeding perspective and from alcohol perspective.
Yeah, I wanted to know about the new roundabout, basically, like, Inspector Yearwood spoke about, look, courtesy driving will help to, alleviate a lot of these stresses. However, what about police presence? What are you guys planning to do about this, so much redevelopments happening? How are we going to maneuver around these new three-lane roundabouts and make sure that, less accidents aren't happening out there?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. I think you're, on the flip side of it, to ask us to have a police officer at every corner is unrealistic. We certainly are looking at the traffic department in terms of enhancing the capacity we have in there, and we've started that already. So there is a need. We've identified that there is definitely a need to inject more staff inside the traffic department. We're at minimal staffing at the moment, and as we progress, we're hoping to inject more staff in there. But I think that having more staff is not the answer to road safety. Obviously, it assists with the enforcement side of it. Generally speaking, it's about education of it and getting people to understand why there is a need for them to use the road safely, because it's everyone's business, and just doing the right thing. Certainly, we do it now with staff. With the traffic enforcement side of business, you'll see some of the traffic cars over on the that spot straight, as we commonly know it. You'll see some down on the Estrella-Tibbetts Highway. So we do have marked police vehicles that we put out there. More so, I would suggest, more to do with the preventative side of it, because we don't want people to speed, so we want to discourage speeding. That's the whole point of the message. But if there are individuals who are breaking the law, then obviously we'll enforce the traffic legislation.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Want to thank everyone again for being here today, and thank you for your support.